Hi guys. Today we are going to see how to replicate the brick-looking landscape that I showed you in the past shorts. So let's start with creating a new file. While I import some assets that we will use later, you can like and comment on what you want a tutorial about. As we speak, you can download all the assets from the link in the description. Now let's start with group the two type of brick in a single collection and hide them. After that, we create a new plane and turn on the statistic menu and set the dimension of the plane at 53 meters. We can go on by going in the Particles tab and click the Add button. I'll rename it Brick Distribution. Set the type to hair and the length of 1. Because we want them in a grid system, we go into the Source menu and set it to vertices. But as you can see when I click, they appear in the 4 corner. That's why we have only 4 vertices. Because of that, we have to add vertices to the plane. To do that, we go in the Modifiers tab and add a subdivision surface, set it to Simple, and move on top. As you can see, the vertices numbers increase from 4 to 9, and we want it to be near 10,000. So we increase the viewport level. But as you can see, it's not enough, so we can add second subdivision modifiers. As soon as we increase the second one, the vertices number increases to much above 10K, but the step before is not enough. So what we can do is go into the edit mode, press Ctrl R and scroll the mouse wheel to add 2 loop cuts on every side. By doing that and decreasing the subdivision, we get 9,409 vertices, and that's perfect. Let's go back to the Particles tab. We want to have 1 particle on each vertices, so we set the amount number to 9409. To apply the modifiers, we have to check this box. And here we go. You have a grid of particles distributed evenly on the plane. Each one of the particles' distance is the same in all 4 directions from the nearby particles. As you can see, if you check random order, some vertices will not have the instance and others will have more than 1. That's not what we want. We can notice that even when we see it from an angle. From here you can see the hole in the distribution. For this tutorial, the optimal solution is to not check the random order and have an equal distribution on all the plane surfaces. To see the object that we want, we have to tell him what object to copy on every instance. We need to go into the Render menu of the particles and change the type from Path to Object. To have the instances the same dimension as the original one, we set the scale to 1. Now I create a simple cube and named it Object. To set the cube the mesh to replicate, we go into the Render menu of the particles and pick the cube. SE the scale to 0.170 and check the Show Emitter in the Viewport menu. If we add colorful material, the same will happen to the instances. A real-time thing. If you want the cube to have a random scale, you go to the Particles System tab and under Scale, you modify the scale randomness. Every instance will have a different value of scale, but I leave it at 0. To move the object, you first move the cube, then apply the All Transform, or press Ctrl A and apply the location. But the object on the plane moves in the wrong direction. We move the object along the Z-axis and the particles has moved along the X. Now I reset the cube position to 0, 0, 0. After, you will see more clearly the effect of the wrong axis. This happens because the instance point has a different rotation than the red cube. When we try to scale the cube along the X-axis, the particles will stretch on the Y. How do we resolve this issue? As you can see, the effect will apply on every axis, X, Y, and Z. We can go to the Particles tab to resolve this issue and check Advanced. We will unlock more options for customization. One of them is rotation. Check it and select the global axis that you prefer. Mine is the Y. Just by doing that, we successfully solved the problem. Now it works in every direction. If in addition to the random scale you also want random rotation, all you need to do is return to the rotation menu and play with the randomized value. I'll leave it to 0. This is how to create a particle plane with one single object. To do it with a collection, you have to go into the render menu, set the type from object to collection, and select the collection where your brick is. The object will result small, so all you need to do is modify the scale value. Luckily for you, I have found the value that is small and you can't tell from distance that they are separated. The value is 0.845. Here we go. You have your bricky plane, but there are some few things that are missing. From this angle, you can see that the two types of tile are displaced by using an ordinary system, and we can see the pattern of that. To break this pattern and have a more random one, you can go to the render menu of the Particles System tab and select Pick Random. Know the type of brick will have a random pattern that we can't distinguish. If you want to have more type than the other, for example, you want more brick than flat, we can go to the Menu tab and check the count. From there we can decide the ratio of the distribution. By increasing the flat number, we will have more times the number of flat tiles to the bricky ones. And vice versa, if we want more bricks, we decrease the flat and increase the brick. If I set the flat to 4 and the brick to 1, this means that there will be 4 times more flat respect to the flat tiles. And at the same time, if the ratio is 1:1, we have an even distribution among the number of elements in the collection. In this case, we have 2 elements, so 50% for each element. Now let's try to do a bricky-looking landscape. The first thing we have to do is to create or import the landscape. I will create it with the add-ons. To add the add-on, you can find the video in the description. Set the size to 53 meters, the same as the plane, and adjust the height as much as you like. I'll set a red material so we can see it better. To give the wanted look, we have to go in the Modifier tab of the plane. Add the Shrink Wrap modifier and move on top. After setting the landscape as the target, we can hide it. But as you notice, not all have the same scale. To fix that, set the Wrap mode to Project. And here we go. You have the landscape that I showed you at the start of the video. I think that it looks great and feels perfect for a start to do random stuff. Now I will explain what negative and positive boxes do. As soon as I activate the negative box and bring it up, you can see that the instances will be more only down respect to the plane height. It will take the plane as our new 0, and all that is below it will modify the shape of the plane, but what's over will have no effect. As you can see, if we check only the positive box, we will see nothing because all the landscaping is on the negative side and not on the positive ones. As soon as we bring the plane down, we can see more clearly the effect of the positive box. For example, in this situation, we have half over and half under the plane, and the brick will be distributed only on the positive side. If we do the opposite, check the negative and deactivate the positive one, this lets us understand more about the meaning of these boxes. Last example, if we active both, as you might expect, we will return the brick projection on both sides. This could bring to life some good animation, and here are some examples of how it works. If you want to get rid of the unused part that I underline here, we will see it in another video in the future. In the next video, where we will see how to do the same thing more easily with geometry notes. Thanks for watching my first video of many. Please let me know what you want a tutorial on. Subscribe and don't miss the future tutorial.